Chaos. What a word. In some ways, it sounds negative, like a churning sea or a storm that wreaks havoc, like a situation that is broken down and is utterly out of control. But in other ways, chaos sounds exciting. It could be anything. Roll the dice, open the mystery box, take a leap in the dark, strike out into the unknown realm of myth and adventure. Delve into the dark dungeon and see what terrors and what treasures are down there. There are certain qualities that come to mind when we think of chaos. The unknown, extreme change, unpredictable, random, and erratic. Whim, impulse, and emotion. Disorientation and disorder. Raw and unshaped. Rebellion and upheaval. Unbound potential. In D&D, chaos is usually associated with freedom, but that's actually a misleading perspective. Someone who is chaotic tends to be unstable and unstructured, which causes constant problems and severely limits what they can accomplish. They're essentially a young child acting out base impulses. That is not freedom. It is actually discipline and well-balanced behavior that gives a person freedom, as they are not drowning in the maelstrom of chaos, and neither are they being petrified by too much order. You can observe this fundamental misunderstanding of chaos and law, or chaos and order, in how D&D often depicts tribal folk or wild folk. They're always considered to be chaotic, or at least some kind of wild and free form of neutral. In reality, tribal people are highly lawful, with very strict traditions and roles. This is because they live within a high chaos environment, the wilderness. There are things like extreme weather, predatory creatures, perilous terrain, enemy tribes. These things threaten them at every turn. They're in a constant state of having to hunt and forage, and there are no social safety nets to catch them when catastrophe strikes. They are one war, one plague, one drought, or one bad hunting season away from half their population dying out, or all of their population dying. So they stick closely to what has worked for their survival. There is not really much room for experimentation or deviation, and the social pressure to keep to tradition is extremely high. Anyone who caused too much turmoil would risk being neglected or exiled, and in the wilderness, you do not want to be neglected or exiled by your tribe. On the flip side, it is only in the metropolitan, developed societies that people have the ability to live devious or unorthodox lives. All those wild-hearted rebels and nonconformists, at the end of the day, still rely upon the same structures as the law-abiding and the conformist. I march to the beat of my own drum. I do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I am whoever I say I am. That is essentially the mind of a toddler. It's normal for someone who is 2 years old. But the only way that adolescents and adults can act like this and get away with it is if they live in a society built by people who work hard and make sacrifices, and a society that provides large amounts of freedom. Freedom that is protected by laws. Captain Jack Sparrow is a great example of a chaotic neutral character. He's unorthodox, he's strange, he's whimsical, he's unpredictable, he's adventurous. Yet, he doesn't build the ships. He relies upon the diligent hard work of highly trained craftsmen in order to even have a ship. How does he manage to feed himself? He's not a farmer or a rancher. He relies upon farmers and ranchers and hunters and fishermen and the like, who predictably and steadily perform their duties of producing food. The hat he wears, the gun he shoots, the sword he wields, the rope he swings on, all these things depend on lawfulness to even come into existence. Captain Jack depends on the ship's crew reliably performing their jobs and their duties. He relies upon the pirates keeping to their code and their parlays. For heaven's sake, he's a pirate. A pirate only exists because there is an orderly civilization to pirate from. Let's not even get into the fact that in order for his movies to exist, there has to be incredible amounts of planning, organizing, working, marketing, distributing, etc. And yet, we need chaos for our stories. We need chaos for adventure. We need chaos to explore into the unknown and the potential for anything. We need chaos to keep from becoming mechanical. We need chaos because as much as we need stability, we also need change and new things. As much as we need to be productive and well-structured during our waking lives, we also need to spend several hours every night roaming the land of dreams and nightmares. So here's where we launch off, my brave companions, to look upon the chaotic gods of the Forgotten Realms. Some are giant-sized toddlers. Some are embodiments of archetypes of change and the unknown, and let's just see if we can find which of the deities is the most chaotic of them all. Aistra is where we begin, a goddess whose name is impossibly difficult to pronounce. She is the goddess of good-hearted drow. Her alignment is chaotic good. In 5th edition, her domains are light, nature, and life. In 4th edition, her domains are unknown. In 3rd edition, her domains are chaos, charm, drow, elf, good, lust, moon, portal, hunt, and night. Aistra is known as the Dark Maiden and the Dark Dancer. She is a lesser-known drow goddess of beauty, song, dance, hunting, swordplay, moonlight, and freedom. We can consider her a patroness of those dark elves who believe in morals and goodness and who seek to live on the surface of the world in harmony with other races. Aistra was born to the goddess Arashni, who later became twisted into Lolth, and the god Corellon Larethian. She strives to lead the drow back to the lands of light, fighting against the oppression of Lolth. Aistra is a nurturing and artistic deity. She uses her magical abilities to inspire, to heal, to protect, and she embodies the values of beauty, love, and the hope for a new life. Aistra is something of an idealized goddess, one who has many different abilities and areas of influence, and very little in terms of flaws. But she has endured some tremendous tragedies and losses, so there's a sort of melancholy underneath all the positivity that she radiates. She's a light in the darkness, you could say. In a way, she seems more neutral good than chaotic good, so I cannot put her very high in this search for the most chaotic god. Shandakul, god of travel. Alignment is chaotic neutral. His domains in 5th edition and 4th edition seem to not exist, so he might be an older god that has died off or become absorbed by a different god. In 3rd edition, his domains were air, chaos, portal, protection, trade, and travel. He's known as the Rider of the Winds. Shandakul is a lesser deity of travel and exploration. He's the patron of those who venture into uncharted lands. He appears as a regal man, clad in leather and a swirling cloak. He walks without touching the ground, and is accompanied by a keening whistle of the wind. A problem that he often faces is that his broad portfolio tends to overlap with other deities' portfolios, and as we know, these kinds of gods are very territorial and jealous. Shandakul is a stern, yet kind god. He dislikes secrecy and he enjoys social interaction. He employs a rugged sense of humor as he spreads the word of hidden places, and he really likes to engage in good-natured conversations. I'm actually not entirely sure why Shandakul is chaotic neutral. Maybe it's because the winds are uncontrollable, but he just doesn't meander pointlessly on the wind. He wants to help travelers and to provide aid regarding areas of exploration. To me, he seems more neutral good. Next, we come to Lara, goddess of joy and revelry. Her alignment is chaotic good. Her domain in 5th edition is life. In 4th edition, I couldn't find anything. And for 3rd edition, her domains were chaos, charm, family, good, joy, lust, radiance, sloth, and travel. Again, we're going to see how 3rd edition had a lot of different divine domains. 5th edition has just throttled them down to a more limited number, unfortunately. Lara is the goddess of joy, the embodiment of happiness and freedom, inspiring a carefree, cheerful life through dance, play, and parties. She is a sensuous and a lively deity. She detests violence and ill feelings, often withdrawing her blessing from celebrations that are marred by conflict, preferring to spread joy and occasionally playing harmless pranks in retaliation against insults. Lara essentially represents the crap philosophy slogan of live, laugh, love. Her portfolio definitely fits into the category of giant-sized toddlers. She does fill a nice role when she is surrounded by other gods who build, protect, and guide everything, but she could not function just on her own. Up next we have Tempest, god of war. His alignment is chaotic neutral, but put an asterisk by that. In 5th edition, his domain is, of course, war. 4th edition had protection, strength, and war. And in 3rd edition, he had chaos, pride, protection, strength, war, and wrath. Tempest is the foe hammer and lord of battles. He appears as a giant man in battered plate mail with smoking wounds. He embodies the chaotic nature of war. His dogma, however, emphasizes honorable combat. He forbids cowardice, and he promotes the use of force to settle all kinds of disputes. He views war and battle as forces of nature, and he advocates for their ability to reshape civilizations. Tempest has an exuberant and also fickle personality. He distributes his favor seemingly at random. He lives for excess. He embraces chaos equally on all sides, as long as each is committed to victory according to his warrior code. A chaotic deity with a strict code? What are his commandments? Be fearless. Never turn away from a fight. Obey the rules of war. A code. Obeying rules. Staying committed. Those things do not sound like chaos. And yet, Tempest has classically been categorized as chaotic neutral. But wait, in the 5th edition Player's Handbook, Tempest's alignment is listed as neutral, as in true neutral, not chaotic neutral. That probably is more accurate. He embraces chaos, but only as long as it is contained within certain rules and bounds. He sounds more like the balance seeker type of a true neutral. Maybe he's true neutral leaning toward chaotic neutral. Next we come to Mask, god of thieves. His alignment is chaotic neutral. His domain in 5th edition is trickery. 4th edition, he apparently wasn't around. And in 3rd edition, his domains were avarice, darkness, envy, evil, luck, sloth, and trickery. The Lord of Shadows and the Master of all Thieves, Mask is symbolized by a black velvet mask tinged with red, and is often associated with those of ill repute. He has the ability to take on the shape of any humanoid or mask, and he makes no sound and leaves no tracks as he passes. Known for his constant scheming and his reserved wit, Mask harbors an enduring hatred towards Sirik, who took a significant portion of his power, in particular his skills and intrigues. This led the Lord of Shadows to adopt a more direct approach to his plots. All guardians of light, knowledge, and duty are opponents of Mask, as he embodies their opposites: shadows, secrets, and a loner-type personality. There's quite a bit of history to Mask, as there is with most of the Forgotten Realms gods, and to be honest, he really is not the most chaotic out there, and at times he really seems more like true neutral or neutral evil. Now we come to Shevarash, god of revenge. His alignment is chaotic neutral. His domain in 5th edition is war. In 4th edition, I couldn't quite find anything, and in 3rd edition, his domains were chaos, elf, pride, retribution, war, and wrath. The Black Archer and the Night Hunter. Shevarash is an elven deity of vengeance, of loss, and of hatred for the drow. Specifically, he loathes the Lolth-worshipping drow who commit so many atrocities, especially against other kinds of elves. In fact, his own origin goes back to an incident in which a band of drow attacked a meeting of elves and dwarves, and Shevarash himself was among the few survivors of the slaughter. While other elven gods such as Corellon focus on defending the elf realms, Shevarash believes in proactively taking the fight to the drow and other evil Underdark forces, striking preemptively and fiercely. He is constantly consumed by thoughts of retribution and bitterness. exhibiting emotions primarily dominated by his anger, and then after he does have a victory, he has a brief moment of exultation. Shevarash employs his own strategies, follows his own wishes, and has this emotional and impulsive temperament. Though he does have personal reasons for his crusades of vengeance, as well, we have to take into consideration that he has this deep, abiding loyalty to elvenkind. We can't really consider him the most chaotic, but an element of chaos is in there. Next we come to Lolth, goddess of drow, spiders, and darkness, with a chaotic evil alignment. In 5th edition, her domains are trickery and war. In 4th edition, they were darkness, poison, and strife. And in 3rd edition, here we go, chaos, darkness, demon, destruction, drow, envy, evil, lust, pride, spider, trickery, and wrath. I covered Lolth in my Who is the Most Evil God in D&D video, and also some in my Drow video. As we know well by now, she is a demon queen, worshipped as a goddess. She's terrible, she's cruel, and she is unpredictable. She will reward her faithful servants with power, and yet she takes that power away just as quickly as she gave it. She doles out severe punishments, and almost no one can meet her impossibly high standards. Standards which can change at any time. Her capricious nature keeps her followers on edge, and there's this volatile element of the power structure in Drow society. Lolth makes me think about how chaos is more often associated with the bad than with the good. Within chaos, there is the potential for good and bad, and everything in between. But chaos is more often used in a more negative way. We don't say chaos in a positive way nearly as often. Partly this is because, well, we're particularly sensitive to bad things. Bad things can hurt us, they can even kill us. But I think it's also because there are many more ways in which something can go wrong than there are ways in which something can go right. If you're aiming for a target, there's just that one spot you have to hit, and all the rest of the whole field of vision is not the target. And it takes skill and timing and practice to be able to hit the target. And if any of multiple factors are off, you're not going to hit. There is a very limited number of ways in which you can succeed at something, and there is an unlimited number of ways in which you can fail at something. This brings us to Cyric, god of lies, deception, and strife. His alignment is chaotic evil. His domain in 5th edition is trickery. In 4th edition, it was madness, strife, and trickery. And in 3rd edition, he had avarice, chaos, envy, destruction, evil, illusion, and pride. I also covered Cyric in my Most Evil God video. He's definitely very high in chaos. His portfolio encompasses lies, deception, suffering, murder, madness. He represents the darkest aspects of chaos and trickery. He lures followers through promises of power and through manipulation. He particularly preys upon people who are attracted to anarchy and who use deceit for their personal gain. You can often find Cyric's influence in individuals who spread falsehoods and discord. In a way, he's similar to the Joker. He has his sadistic pranks and psychopathic plots. With Cyric, the chaos dial is really cranked up, and we have to expect the unexpected. But he is also extremely evil. He is unbridled evil, in fact. So actually, we can always expect him to act according to sin and vice. There's a sort of predictability in that. The full potential of chaos is not expressed in him. Because of this, we can determine that the most chaotic god possible must be chaotic neutral. And indeed, I believe I have found her. The title of the most chaotic Forgotten Realms god goes to Lara, goddess of deception and illusions. Her alignment, of course, is chaotic neutral. Her domain in 5th edition is trickery. I'm not sure if she had one in 4th edition, I couldn't find it. In 3rd edition, she had charm, illusion, spell, and trickery. The Lady of Deception, the Lady of Mists. Lara is a goddess of liars, deceivers, and illusionists. She herself is an enigma. She never reveals the truth. She's always misdirecting. Her actions and her words are cloaked in layers of illusion and lies. She resides within the ever-changing chaos of limbo, the outer plane that is the planar manifestation of the chaotic neutral alignment. Her home there is called the Courts of Illusion. The exact nature of the rituals and ceremonies that take place there is intentionally kept vague, and it is said that they are always changing and shifting to new and different practices. But it is known that, in broad terms, Lara's worship involves a variety of performances and acts that blur the lines between reality and illusion. When Lara bestows her favor upon someone, the recipient gains abilities with illusion magic and subterfuge. Followers of Lara wear silver masks and disguise themselves to deceive, though, curiously, they do speak the truth to other Lara worshippers. Many believed that Sirik killed Lara with his sword Godsbane, but it was later revealed that Lara is still alive, and her supposed death was just yet another of her tricks, and she delighted in the confusion that sprang up surrounding her alleged demise. Lara is an extremely chaotic deity, and one who embodies a more complete scope of the potential of chaos, untethered to the morality of good nor the wickedness of evil. Always tricking, always creating layers and schemes, she's always changing her clergy's practices and even her own behavior. She dissolves reality into dreams, whimsies, and illusions. She never reveals her motives, and if we can glean anything, it would be that, apparently, her only true motive is to perpetuate the element of chaos. I want to thank you all for watching, and a special appreciation to all my fine supporters on Patreon. In particular, Adam Wood, Vince Vallely, Nick Thy Pirate King, Locke Monroe, and Nicholas A. Much appreciation, guys. Until we meet again, my brave companions, make sure to keep a healthy balance of discipline and structure so that you can have successful forays into the realm of chaos. And as always, may your adventures be many.